If you're ready to explore the Hebrew roots of your Christian faith, then grab your Bible and let's get started. Shalom and welcome back to Tuesday night Torah Studies. I appreciate everyone who is joining me on today. Most definitely, I appreciate you. Today has been a very fascinating day for me, so I hope it's been a fascinating and a good day for you guys too. But we are focused on Genesis chapter 37 on today. So for Genesis 37, so you guys who are not new, who's been with me for a while, know that I normally do not use titles again for the chapters of the Bible that we go over. But reading Genesis 37 over and over again so many times, I can understand why some Bibles may say Joseph and his brothers, Joseph being sold in slavery. But I will also add in sibling rivalry, dysfunctional family, a family affair, more because it's basically is all of that. There is so much that's in the Bible. I think the Bible is good for different type of readers. It's very fascinating. But welcome to Reconcile the Kingdom, where we're working towards becoming the harmony of the whole word of truth. My name is Patrice Robinson, and I appreciate every last one of you who have joined me on today on this live premiere, and for those who will be joining me on the replay. Now, if this is your first time visiting me on today, I welcome you. If this is your 50th time, your 300th time, I most definitely welcome you too. But I'm hoping that you are at this point that you've been visiting and checked out the YouTube channel, maybe looked at some teachings, and you have made the decision that you're ready to join this family. You're ready to join this family that does not mind searching the scripture, a family that does not mind challenging the religious systems teachings that we have been under for hundreds of years, a family who has dedicated themselves as a student of the Bible, and you're ready to explore the Hebrew roots of your Christian faith. It is simple and easy to join this family because it's totally free. Just hit that subscribe button below and that bell to let you know when I'm live, any announcement or any updates from this ministry. And we know that this is not the only way that you support this ministry. I will encourage you to send comments, send a respectful emoji. You don't have to make words out anymore. You can say hi, I stopped by on the live premiere, or a hi. And if those you join in a replay, you can do the same thing. But if you're here with me live, I encourage you to share the link to your friends, your families, your loved ones. If you join me on a replay, I encourage you to share the link also. Because remember, if you're learning something, they can learn something too. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Say that you like what I'm teaching, what you're learning, what you're receiving, and that YouTube should send this out to more people so they can get some teachings too. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Spotify, YouTube. And if you have a YouTube membership, most definitely follow me on YouTube podcasts. Shop in the digital online shop. I am really trying to encourage everyone to shop in the shop because there are things there for everyone. Right now, we're in the book of Genesis, so there is a workbook for the book of Genesis. And right now, it is on sale for $7.79, regular $12.99. It's 40% off because we'll be ending Genesis soon and moving over to Exodus. So what I'm showing you right now is the basic 5 points of the book, the workbook, and this is for every workbook. It's the inside to have the 5 foundations, chapter summaries, and to dig deeper. So in the workshop, the digital online shop, I should say, the workbooks are designed for you to go deeper into your teachings and to your lessons, whatever you're going to use it for personally. And I plan on, again, leaving mine for my children and my grandchildren. So, and the purpose of the it's also individual Bible companion, which is only 2 pages. That's $1.99. So you have that option. You can get the individual Bible companions, or you can get the workbooks. It depends on how you want to invest into yourself, into your studies. So that's what the online digital shop is about this moment. And there are a couple of few free things. I'm sorry, that you should just go into the shop and you can download a few of those free items that are there. Donate in the love drawer. Donating in a love drawer is most definitely another way to support this ministry because you partnership with me so that I can work on continuing to grow the ministry. That's the purpose of donating in the love drawer. So everything we just spoke about, of course, you can find in the description box. You can take a look at that after the live premiere or doing the replay. That is most definitely available to you. Now, I don't want you to forget at the end of this teaching today, you can ask questions about the teaching that's presented to you today. I encourage making your comments respectfully. Even if you don't agree, there's still a respectful way to say you don't agree. Sharing throughout the teaching is most definitely um, encouraged. Now, we always begin our teachings by going over last week. So that's an overview, a recap, a key points that we talked about last week. So I'm going to pull up my sheet before you. And this is my sheet. This is Genesis 36 from last week. So my key points. Last week we went over the genealogy of Esau. So that's what the whole focus was for Genesis 36. It is important to also know the genealogy. As we spoke about last week, people can teach you false teachings about people in the Bible if you don't even know the genealogy. So that's also important. So Esau is Edom because of the red stew, not because of red skin, is what some people will kind of teach you. And if you look at the word study, we looked at what Esau means. He was hairy. That we also went through the cross reference about him being hairy. Edom, red stew, the redness, all that type of stuff. We went through that. What really stood out to me is that the Bible repeated Esau is Edom about maybe 4 or 5 times in the Bible, maybe 3 times. Not that Esau had a son named Edom, but that Esau is Edom. So the Edomites are the children of Esau. Another thing that we learned is that Esau was given Syria by Yehovah. And you wouldn't even know that until you did your research in your study. And also that Esau had to fight for his land, just as Israel in the future chapters will have to fight for their land, as we learn in the book of Exodus and all through the Torah. Starting with verse 20 of Genesis 36, we have names of those Horites, the ones who was in the land of Syria, that remained in the land with Esau. Now, my thoughts about that is because Esau's elder son, Eliphaz, took Timnah as a concubine, which she is from that family that remained with Esau. So my insight for those of us that kind of teach hating other people, um, one thing that some people teach is the hate of Esau, the Edomites, but they forget that Yehovah actually said, do not despise Esau, your brother. And actually says, don't even despise Egypt. Because he was allowing Esau to even join in with the children of Israel. Again, if you're having a hard time with this overview without going through the teaching with us, I encourage you to go to last week, Genesis 36, episode 49, and go along with that teaching and research it for yourself. On this sheet, I have all the cross reference for and about Esau in the Torah. So basically, if we look at Esau and we take in everything that we have learned about Esau and everything about Yehovah and Yeshua, he's basically teaching you love thy enemy. And if you do not learn to forgive and love other people, that is a hard walk to walk. So I'm encouraging you most definitely to study Genesis 36 if you have a hard time with Esau, you have a hard time understanding Edomites, um, all those type of things. Go back to last week and take a deep dive yourself along with that study. And I think that would be very helpful for you. And if you pay attention to the worksheets that I do share with you, if you look at the bottom, I most definitely have the law of Genesis sheet in the beginning, and then on the side, on the it's probably your left side, it's my right side. East it says Genesis, Bereshit, and Pentateuch. So I specifically designed these sheets and the workbooks just for those who are exploring the Hebrew Christian faith. So I just wanted to make sure you understand the reasoning that I created the workbooks in the individual Bible companions. So I'm going to leave my sheet up as usual so you can take a look. Also, to encourage you to share. You might have some different points from Esau that you want to share. Any application that you have learned from Esau that you want to share. Any insight, any questions, any cross reference that I have missed, or any word study that you would like to share. So I would encourage you to most definitely take the time and share that information. So make sure that you have your Bible before you and all your writing utensils that you need. Make sure you have your workbook, your worksheets, or a plain piece of paper, whatever you need, because we're focused on Genesis 37. And so the point is that we need to find out what we're learning and stick with the word of Yehovah. Use your Bible dictionaries and any tools that you need to take your study further on your own. All righty. Genesis chapter 37, verse 1. And Jacob, which is Israel, dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. So, what the writer of Genesis is going from transitioning from Esau from last week to Genesis 37, focus on Israel, the children of Israel from this point through the rest of Genesis. So we're transitioning to all about the children of Israel at this point. Verse 2. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brother, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought into his father their evil report. Joseph is young and is working in the field with his brothers. Remember, he's only 17 years old. So, but he is fully aware of what is right and what is wrong. And so he's able to tell his father what the brothers are doing. And I'm pretty sure Jacob doesn't mind that at all because, the history of his sons. So I'm pretty sure he does not mind Joseph coming in, informing him of any information of what's going on within the family. So I'm not sure if there should be any problems in that area, but people have their own thoughts about that. Now, I do hear that the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, so that means that's not all the brothers. That just means those boys that they birthed. So, for example, Bilhah, which was Rachel's handmaid, she had Dan and Naphtali. And so Zilpah, which was the maidservant of Leah, it was Gad and Asher. Now, but that is not what stuck with me so far. What's sticking for me is that they are now called his wives, which gives me a question as where is Leah? What I have not found in the Bible is, when did Leah pass away? When was she buried? We just know that she is buried. So at this point, I don't know if Leah's not around. So now Zilpah and Bilhah is now moved up to be his wives, because the two, Rachel and Leah, is no longer there. So those are the questions that I had just from those few verses that we are in Genesis. So now we on verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, and so you know that's a problem. And because he was a son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peacefully unto him. So Joseph had favor. Actually, if you pay attention to the events about Joseph, Joseph had favor with men. And and we see it right here happening in the beginning with his father. But we can't forget that Israel, which is Jacob, had favor with his mother. Rebecca was showed favor with Joseph, and Esau, Isaac showed favor with Esau. So this type of behavior was not really out of the norm, I should say, for Israel. Just like Israel had his favorite wife, which is the only wife he chose. Everyone else was just given to him because of the culture of Panorama's culture, where the oldest had to be married, and then he had to work 7 more years for Rachel. Now the other children were able to recognize the favor that Israel had with Joseph. Now his favor was shown by him making this coat, this tunic of many colors. Now, you and I know, especially today, if we will make a coat of many colors for one child, the other children will be like, "Where's mine?" They're going to be asking some questions. They wouldn't keep silent in these days. They will ask question, "Where is my coat?" So the favoritism has made the brethren hate Joseph, despise their very own brother. Now, I find it ironic that they didn't have anger towards Israel at all. They did not, although he showed and displayed favoritism to Joseph, the brethren didn't have any issue with Israel. They totally respect him no matter at this point what was going on. So, but I think what is missing is that Joseph had favor with Elohim, which made all the rest of everyone else to have favor with him. Him have favor with everyone else. And that's the part that we were missing. And so Yehovah had favor. So the father had showed favoritism. Verse 5. Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brother, and they hated him yet more. So here we have more hatred. How do you hate more than more hate? And he said unto them, "Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we have binding shelves in the field, and lo, my shelf arose, also stood upright. And behold, your shelves stood around about and made obedience to my shelf. And this has, and his brother said to him, Shall thou indeed reign over us? Shall thou indeed have dominion over us?" And they hated him yet the more for his dreams, for his words. Now, Israel, Jacob, did not experience spiritual connections with Yehovah until he received his birthright. Although Israel was a chosen bloodline, but we don't read any connection or any interaction or encounters with Yehovah till after he received his birthright. So Joseph, who is experiencing these dreams, he's experienced this at a young age. Unfortunately, he's at a young age without wisdom of discretion. So he's sharing his dreams. Although he might not fully understand what's causing the problem between him and his brother. It don't even say that he even recognized that he's having a problem with his brother, but he most definitely don't have that wisdom on what to say and what not to say. So, however, his brothers was able to fully understand what the dreams meant themselves, that you're going to rule over us, but just because he has a dream, this made them just hate him even more. Not only are we seeing the favor of Yehovah, and now they're having problems with this. So I'm assuming in their brains, the brothers were saying, "Okay, you got favor of our dad, and now you're coming up to us and telling us you have a dreams that you're gonna rule over us." So I'm pretty sure that was kind of hard for them to swallow, which probably caused them to be more, um, how can I say, despise him more. Maybe that's what I should say. Verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream and told it his brother and said, "Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obedience to me." And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, "What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brother indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth?" And his brother envied him, and his father observed the same. One thing that surprised me was how Israel responded to that dream. Because we know that Israel himself experienced dreams from Yehovah, and those dreams had came to pass, and those dreams had made him make some informed decisions about his life. So I was kind of surprised that he rebuked him and that he didn't, start talking to him about his experience, sharing and had to teach him about some discretion. So I'm very surprised that it said that he rebuked him. And then I'm also surprised that he said, mother, because as we know that Rachel has passed away. Now, unless he's referring to who continued to raise Joseph after Rachel had passed away, because right now he's 17 years old and Rachel has probably been gone for a while. Now, does that mean that Leah, which we don't know if she's around, or the concubines have now has taken the place as his mother since they are continuing to raise him? Those are some questions to have. So this is another dream that the brothers were not happy about. But this is what gets me. I think the problem was the mindsets. See, remember that they're all shepherds. So Joseph, basically, you're a shepherd like us. Now, how are you going to rule over us? So they were not able to think outside of the camp of Israel, outside of the land of Canaan, outside of the camp of Israel. Their mindset was locked into what they can see. As far as they know, they just stuck with the land of Canaan and being shepherds. So it would have never occurred to them to think outside of the camp of Israel. How can you be a ruler over us if you're among this camp? How is that going to happen? So I think that was the problem. It was the mindset. And so with those dreams, which Jehovah was giving out most definitely information that this is the camp is not going to remain here in the land, although he shared that with Abraham in earlier chapters. Verse 12. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. We know about Shechem, remember? And Israel said unto Joseph, "Do not thou, brethren, feed the flock of Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them." And he said to him, "Here am I." And he said to him, "Go, I pray thee, to see whether it be well with thy brethren and well with the flocks, and bring me word again." So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. Now, we know the history of Shechem. Remember Genesis 34. Simeon and Levi, they killed all the males that were circumcised. Remember, they were secretly devising this, be circumcised, and then you can marry my sister Dinah, and we can all become one. So this is that same place that this happened at. So Yehovah most definitely had the children of Israel's back, because nothing had happened to them. They remained safe and they back at Shechem. So Israel wanted to make sure that all is going well with the sons, that once again they're in Shechem, and he sent Joseph to verify. Now, I do not blame Israel for this one. If you remember what happened then, I would not blame them. So basically, check and make sure that they have not devised another plan or destroy something else to take over something or to do something. I don't blame Joseph for this one. Verse 15. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. So Joseph was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They departed hence, for I heard them say, Let's go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brother and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said to one another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, and we will say, Some evil beasts have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered them out of their hands, and he said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said to them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and they lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. Here we go. The strangers give him directions of where the brothers went. So they saw the future ruler come in and begin to plot against him. They plotted to actually kill their brother. Now, this has nothing to do, repeat this, nothing to do with Jacob deceiving Esau because of what's happening now. Everything that happened badly or negatively with the children of the children so far, anything they do, people relate it back to Jacob deceiving Esau, which we know, we studied that is not what happened. But instead, the favoritism that he was clothed with from Yehovah, his brothers just couldn't handle it. Here comes the dreamer, they said. Let us slay him. Let a beast devour him. Then let's see what happens to his dreams. Not understanding that they are fighting against Yehovah. Not understanding. Now, Reuben, who is the eldest son and the son of Leah, he's the oldest and son of Leah, was not happy about the plotting that his brother has came up with to slay your own brother. So Reuben has his own plans to return Joseph back to his father. I mean, I'm pretty sure Reuben had learned some lessons for what he had did, if you remember. So most definitely, I think he learned some lessons. But when he slept with Bilhah, what happened there? He lost his birthright. Genesis 37, verse 23. And it came to pass when Joseph was coming to his brother that they stripped Joseph out of his coat. Can you imagine? I don't know. Could you imagine what was going on in his head? So they stripped him of his coat of many colors that was on him. They took him and cast him into the pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it, so it used to be a well. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lift up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicers and bombs, palms and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. So these are the merchants. And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brother were content. Oh, I just can't imagine how he was feeling at age 17, experiencing his brothers doing that. So his own brothers attacking him, took his coat, threw him in the pit. So I probably, if he sat in that pit long enough, he probably thought, oh, my brother's upset, they joking, they're gonna cool off, everything's gonna be okay. But you know, and then you have the Israelites coming. They were headed towards Egypt to sell their goods. Judah stands up and start talking about another plan instead of killing their own brother. So they still had in their mind, after talking to Reuben, that to kill their brother. So let's sell him. But do we notice in the meanwhile, while they having this conversation, that Reuben is not around? What happened to Reuben? I don't know where Reuben went. Maybe he said, put him in the pit. We're going to go here and I'll be back. I have no idea. But what we do see now that we have the Ishmaelites coming, heading towards Egypt, we see Jehovah's plan coming into play for the children of Israel. Although they may have wanted to kill their brother for a point in time, we know that was not Jehovah's plan for Joseph. Verse 28. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lift up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes, and he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not. And I, whither shall I go? Where am I going to go to find this kid? The Midianites also passed by this time. Remember? Joseph's brothers pull him out of the pit, sold him to the Israelite for 20 pieces of silver. Now Joseph's gone to Egypt. Now we know this is Jehovah's plan. It might not look pretty. It might not look the way that we should, the way we think it should go for him to go to Egypt, but this is what's happening. And Reuben is not happy what's going on. So now he's trying to wonder, where am I going to find this kid? What's going on? There's no easy answer for Reuben, because they sold him. He's gone. It's not like they can go get him or kidnap him or take him, anything like that. He's gone. So there's no answer to give their dad. How do you tell your dad that you sold your brother? Don't know. Verse 31. And they took Joseph's coat, killed a kid of goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, this have we found. Now, know now whether it be thou son's coat or no. And he knew it and said, it is my son's coat. An evil beast had devoured him. Just what they wanted the father to believe. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his loins and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters. I want to stop there for a moment. And all his sons and all his daughters. So, did Israel have more than Dinah? Because it has daughters with an S. I've always wondered that. But of course, the Bible is focused on the 12 sons because of the 12 tribes of Israel. So even if Israel had more daughters, it wouldn't be really noted unless there was any issues like Dinah. So I think he had more than one daughter. So all his sons, all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, "For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning." Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt, into Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and a captain of the guard. So they kept the coat. They could not tell their father that we sold our brother. So they wanted to pretend that he was killed so they can wipe out the memory of their brother. They didn't want him around anyway because, he's a dreamer. He's going to rule over us, making pun and fun of him. So they wanted his father to believe that he was devoured by an animal. So what is happening is what is in the plan of Yehovah. And Israel will not be comforted because it's his favorite. And how do you comfort someone who lost Rachel and now Joseph is gone? Joseph was a wanted child by a wanted wife, which is all his favorite. So, what in the world are you going to do? How do you comfort him? And this is why I believe he held tight on Benjamin. And we will go over that in a future chapter. He held tight on Benjamin. Now, I don't want you to neglect or skip over the fact that we had the Ishmaelites and the Mennonites in this one chapter. So they sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites, but the Mennonites is the one who sold to Egypt in this chapter. Wait till we get to the other chapters, you will see a total difference. So what you should also see is the Ishmaelites, the Mennonites, and the children of Israel. All of these tribes are all from Abraham. You know who Ishmael is, Abraham's firstborn, and by Hagar. And the Midianites are from Midian, from Keturah. We went over the bloodline previously. So all of these people that we've been speaking about in Genesis 37 are all from the children of Abraham. So they're all family. So they're all cousins. Ishmaelites, Mennonites, and children of Israel are all cousins. So it's a whole family affair right here in Genesis 37. So, but what it seems like to me is that the Ishmaelites and the Mennonites, which are all merchants, they all have these different caravans that are headed to Egypt to sell some products, entrepreneurs. And so, and it seems like they was working interchangeably together. At least that's my take on it. So I did my own research and I didn't see anything outside of them being separate from each other. So they probably kind of basically hung out together and was headed towards Egypt. Now, if you have found some other information about the Israelites, Mennonites, and why it's worded like this, and plus in other future chapters that we would go in, the little confusion that happens without seeing that these are merchants, caravans who's going together to Egypt. And so it's interchangeable, meaning them both together. So that is my take on it. So I truly hope that you enjoyed today's teaching. I don't see any questions or anything that come up. This is the time to send any questions for this chapter here. I don't have anything else to add besides this whole family situation that was going on. Now, I hope that you would join me for the book of Judges on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. And most definitely don't forget to join me next Tuesday as we continue through Genesis. Again, we're almost done with Genesis and will be over pretty soon. So I'm also encouraging you to get ready to purchase your Exodus workbook. To get ready for that and even move further on by going ahead and doing your studies. So by the time we get to it, that you can most definitely compare, share, all those type of things from Exodus. And as we continue with Genesis, there's quite, I think there's what, 11 chapters left that we're going through. And I love the book of Genesis. It really laid down some foundation. If you go through it slowly, it will help you understand the rest of the Bible when it talks about these specific peoples and towns and places, because you're going to need to know this, especially when you get to the prophets' books. You're going to need to know this information. So that is important to know. Now, I don't have anything else. I don't see any other questions. I'm very excited that you joined me on today. Now, as always, man does not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yehovah. I pray that you have a blessed rest of the week, and I will see you on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. May Yehovah bless you. Thank you.